Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hit the bell, subscribe. We have new content coming out daily. Make sure you subscribe. God bless you guys. Joining us now is Garrett Ziegler. The Washington Post calls him a scorched earth activist. Washington Post, the scorched earth activist trying to take down Hunter Biden. Garrett Ziegler, an often provocative former Trump White House staffer, seeks to influence House investigations and the public discussion. Garrett Ziegler is with us. Garrett, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate this opportunity.
So, Garrett, we have all hour. We're going to go through all the detail.
Honor.
So let's start at the beginning. Tell us about your bio, how you got into this. You worked in the Trump White House, and then I want to go through that pesky little document called the Marco Polo Report.
So I do have to give the Washington Compost article a little bit of credit. It was much better than the Huffington Compost because they actually asked me some questions. And so the only reason why I cooperated with the writer, because I hate the outlet, is that she promised me to include a picture of our report. And she did, thank goodness. So we got a picture of the dossier in there. And to be frank, the title of it is wrong because I'm not going after Hunter Biden. If Hunter Biden were just a drug addict, I wouldn't care about him. It's his business-related crimes that I'm obsessed over. And I am obsessed over it because I think beyond election integrity, if your president is compromised by foreign powers, nothing else matters. Back to the bio, very simple. I grew up in Illinois, southern Illinois, a town called Effingham.
I know it.
And I live there now. So I grew up there. My family's been there since 1850. Doing nothing but farming, essentially. And I got obsessed with President Trump's trade policies, particularly in 2015. And so when I was a senior in college, I was able to get an internship through that internship, I met Peter Navarro at the White House. I got an internship at the White House. And so after I graduated college, I went to school at a small Catholic school in St. Louis called St. Louis University. I got hired by Peter. And Peter was a college professor for 30 years. He was very comfortable around younger people. And it was essentially a graduate assistant position. There were 4 of us. I'm not sure if you know my other colleague, Joanna Miller. She's been embroiled in the Jack Smith witch hunt and has been subpoenaed by him and everything, and the January 6th Inquisition and everything else. And so through that job in Peter's office, really the obsession with the CCP, I got obsessed with their infiltration of the country. And that is why I got obsessed with the content on the Biden laptop. If the foreign deals, Charlie, were just Brazil or Japan or Romania, I don't think that it would rise to one of the most important stories so far of the 21st century. But because it's with the Chi-Coms, that is where my interest originated, and it's what drives pretty much every single day of my life, is trying to tease out who precisely affiliated with the CCP that the Bidens got money from, and filling in those 5 W's and 1 H: who, what, when, where, why, how. And this group that I founded, Marco Polo, obviously is not just me. I'm just the public face of it, but there's much more, experienced older guys behind me. There's 2 private investigators. There's an attorney. There's an accountant. There's digital forensics folks, because I'm none of those things. I just played with the Rubik's Cube long enough. And, I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk about this because of your just enormous reach. And hopefully we can just talk and get the word out there about how there actually is evidence.
Yes.
A copious amount.
So I just
time back to Joe.
By the way, I know Effingham. It's a great place, working class folks, so it just makes me like you more. I have Susan Petty. I don't know if you know her or not. Great grassroots warrior from Effingham.
Yes.
Yeah, she was Tea Party. She was one of the first Tea Party people to get behind Turning Point way back when, like 11 years ago. So, Garrett, I appreciate the biography because you are an ordinary man. You are a young patriot who saw injustice. You saw many of the leaders of the conservative movement not care, and then you started to compile all of the publicly available information around the Biden crime family into something called the Marco Polo report, or the Marco Polo. Tell us about that, because the media has done quite a trick of blacklisting it from even getting out.
Yes. So, quick point of privilege on the mechanics of the blacklisting. A personal friend of Hunter Biden's is an executive at Microsoft. His name is Vinny Staropoli. Joey knows him. He has gotten Microsoft to basically block our URL. Bidencrimes.info is the free version of the report. You can go read it online right now. When you visit that URL on Microsoft's browser, the Edge browser, it gives a big red flag and says that our site might steal your financial information, even though there's no payment form on the site. So the full court press has been quite astonishing. So they have the technical aspect of it with Microsoft, and then they make up these ridiculous lies about my group that I'm some bigot. It's so ridiculous. And they say that Marco Polo is my nom de plume, which is basically my alter ego, that I'm going by the name of a 15th century Venetian explorer. It's so stupid and ridiculous. It's just the name of the nonprofit. But because they don't ask those questions before they run the articles, they don't get the basics right. So it's a C3. It's a very small C3. It's about a half a dozen guys. And we did take an extraordinary amount of time, 18 months, to do this. And the goal was to create a document that a subcommittee of the U.S. Congress would create. And the reason why we were able to do that is because we had the help of private investigators. When I went through the device the first time, I realized that, holy cow, this stuff it's earth moving. So we took the 4,000 contacts in Hunter's laptop and ran them through private investigator databases. And through that, I was able to get a good link analysis of the LLCs and everything behind these people in the laptop. And then while we were drafting the report, Charlie, we put the email site online. So anyone with an internet connection can go to bidenlaptopemails.com and download the entire cache themselves. So our goal was not to guard the data in any way. We've released all the emails, and then in June of this year, it took us months to redact all the genitalia. In June of this year, we released all of the photos on the device with genitalia redacted, with all of the original metadata. So the big goal, and I know I'm being loquacious, but I haven't had a chance to speak with you before about this topic, so I'm giving you all the background like you asked. But our main goal is to, number one, lay out all the criminal activity on the device, every single statute going to the state level and up to the federal. And the second goal is to create a permanent repository for the data.